Hey yo, how's everyone doing? I see familiar faces. That's good. All right, nice street sharks inspo. Are you talking about the intro screen with the shark? Oh yeah, you're right. A friend of mine, he's a designer. So I had this Reddit post when I was just like standing and holding my keyboard like this, and it got like 5,000 upvotes, and he drew a picture like the same pose, but instead of me it's a shark, and it's actually the same keyboard, so like it's factually correct. So I figured I'd use that as an intro. Karma, where are all the people who like Gura, whoever that is? Hello Rex Dows. Oh, people watching Simon stream. He's been streaming for a long time. Come on. That's enough. It's enough of raging. Alright. I mean, I suppose today I will be a little bit of Simon as well, because I have this keyboard that certain brand has been ghosting me and a lot of other people for a long time, and yeah, just straight away, I'm not recommending to buy this keyboard to anyone, and I will not even name it, just for the sake of like protest or something. I'm not even gonna show the outer box. Oh shit, its branding is everywhere, so it's fine. Let's just open it real quick. So yeah, first of all, the story about this board. Last August, Durgod. Yeah, so last August they opened the Kickstarter campaign for this new keyboard that was launching. Well, they promised to deliver it September. So the Kickstarter campaign was in like August 2020, and they promised to deliver it like September, October. And September came, October came. They have been just ghosting everyone with like updates, and I think it was like in November. They're making an update on Kickstarter, and in the update they have a link to Google Sheet, which contains like emails and like backer numbers with tracking info for like almost all like thousands of people. And they just ignored people begging them to remove that link because it's just a huge dump of personal data. And thankfully my email was not in that list, because I'm kind of paranoid about this shit. And yeah, Kickstarter removed that link from their post after complaints, but the Google Sheet might still be up to this date, because they like the link was in emails and the Google Sheet stayed up, and everyone still had that massive link on their hand. And apparently at some point my keyboard has been shipped in like end of November 2020, but It never, like according to tracking number, it never left China because Chinese customs kind of turned it back. And yeah, I tried reaching out. They never replied. It was like the same situation with like a lot of people on Kickstarter. Some people receipt boards, but some keyboards were dead or like wrong color or wrong switches. It was just a shit show, and it all ended up like I contacted the local distributor of this brand, and like it was like a couple of weeks ago, and they had these keyboards for like weeks now, and yeah, I just reached out to them, and apparently they can reach out to that brand and like verify my pledge and ship me the keyboard, and it took like 5 days, and I got this box. It's been imported by that like local store, not like by the brand for me to like give me my Kickstarter pledge. So whatever. The brand is they are assholes. I will just say that. But let's just ignore the brand, and like I have keyboard on my hands. It's actually not that bad considering it was like $100. But yeah, we cannot I do not recommend anyone to even look at this keyboard and maybe even this brand, just because they're kind of jerks. Right, so what we have in the box, we have like the cable tie, we have this cable, we have we have USB-A to USB-C and USB-C to USB-C. Well, that's kind of nice actually. And we also have the adapter from the USB-A to USB-C. Oh, just so you guys know, for today I plan to show this keyboard and kind of show how bad it is. And then we will be able to move on to like I'm gonna finish lubing some switches. Alright, so let's get to it. There's this cover, which is, yeah, nice. Like the product itself, it's not that bad. Yeah, here's the keyboard. I think it has like a nice aesthetic. It's kind of retro aesthetic, which is pretty sweet. That's in fact the reason why I kind of liked it. And it has Bluetooth, it has like a radio, 2.4 gigahertz, and it can also work in a wired mode. And so if you kind of lift this badge, the receiver is in there, and it's just kind of or you can use this magnet stick to kind of get it out, which is weird, but whatever. Yeah, and the switches that I ordered are Cherry Speed Silver. I don't know why. I just wanted to have a look at them. It was like an extra $10 option, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna just say it. The switches are bad, like pretty bad. But I guess, hey, they must be reliable, right? Keyboard, it pangs really badly. I hope you can hear it. And the cherry on this cake of crap is the spacebar, which squeaks like nothing else. I'm not sure you can hear it, but it's pretty bad. Yeah. And initially, I had planned to maybe, I don't know, see what I can do with the $100 keyboard and if I can make it good. I initially planned to kind of, it is like a tray mount, and I planned to make the standoffs smaller, and so that keycaps can sit like there's less of a gap here. I'm not sure why I even got into this idea, but let's just, it was 2020, right? And what else? Yeah, switches obviously need tuning. Well, at least stabs are good. Like they're okay. Yes. Well, no, I'll disagree. It looks all right, in my mind. Speed silvers are supposed to be used for gaming. No, not printing. Well, it's a preference. It's a preference. If you use the linears, you can type on them, absolutely. They just have, I think, just slightly like faster actuation, something like that. But it really doesn't matter. Maybe the travel is like 0.6 millimeter like shorter, but I'm not sure. But check this out, double shot, and that's PBT. So the font they have is actually kind of gross in typical Chinese fashion, I guess. But it is double shot, which is not bad, and it has like side printing. So yeah, overall it's not that bad. Well, these keycaps are, I would say, they're decent. Right, and what else? Yeah, switches are horrible. They are scratchy AF. They are not smooth at all, as expected. Yeah, I kind of wanted to maybe take it apart today. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna treat you guys with the typing test. How about that? Oh, the wireless receiver. So like this keyboard does not work on a Mac. If you just connect it, it doesn't work. It only works on Windows. How much does it weigh? Less than a kilo, I think. It weighs... Yeah, I think it weighs like maybe 800 grams, which is like how much? 3 pounds, close to that. All right, let's get it powered on. Yeah, it is working fine. Yeah, I hope you are enjoying these heavenly sounds. Well, I mean, it is wireless, you guys. All right, let's get going. Oh, hello? Let me turn off the filters. And the music. All right. You will be able to hear it in the full high definition. You get the idea. All right. Wrong language. Yeah. Ah, the sound. $69. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry about that. So yeah, it is a thing. Switches are north facing, stabs are lubed. Yeah, very nice. Well, come on, it's a cool keycap. I wanted to show it off. It's actually it is actually, well, by the way, it's not DSA, it's CAT. Let's what mechanical keyboard would you recommend for the beginner? Depends on your budget. For the beginner, like any keyboard that you can kind of tune and improve a little bit would be fine. It's just the hot swap keyboard is nice because you can try different switches and find what you like. I would say up to $150 with switches and keycaps or just the keyboard. So yeah, my first kit was GK64 based keyboard from KBD Fans. It was 150 with keycaps and like box burnt orange switches. But yeah, what would I recommend right now? Chat, if you know, except Corner, chat, if you know what's a good 150 USD board, let me know. The Roma Cara is like close to 150, but it doesn't come with switches, which can that can be very cheap if you get like some Gateron yellows, which should be like 20 cents per switch, right? So it's like $15. Yeah, if Keychron K8, it sounds kind of like this Durgod. Oh, I said the name. Yeah, and you will have to put a lot of elbow grease into it. So yeah, I would agree with Obscure, and you can get like Leopold or something for like 150, $200, and it will be a good start. It will just be a decent keyboard from like out of the box. But yeah, if you want to get into like good custom territory, it's, yeah, I would say at least 200, maybe 250. But there's also an option of poker mount cases. You can find like a lot of you can find a lot of PCBs that are compatible. You can find a lot of cases, etc. And keycaps. Keycaps can be like cheap blanks for 20 bucks, or you can find like small kits for pretty cheap. KBD 67 light. So look. Oh yeah, that's actually might be a good idea with. Oh yeah, it's 109. $109. Yeah, okay. KBD fans page is slow usual time. So yeah, with this new influx of plastic injection molded keyboards, they kind of dropped in price significantly. That's very good. Yeah, so that might be a good option. All right. What were we doing? Oh yeah, the keycap. So it is actually kind of cool. It is from Cat Cyberspace, and yeah, it is a wrong profile, but let's just consider it an artisan, and it's fine. Let me just show you. It is kind of cool. Well, it's supposed to glow in the dark. Let me just charge it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Let me just charge it a little more. Yeah, NK65, also a decent option. Also, again, injection molded, so not too expensive. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Right, so another thing that I wanted to do today is I have a bunch of Gateron inks that I needed to finish lubing, and I actually started doing that, I think, like in March 2020, and I plan to do like a lubing guide, but that never happened, so it's fine. I decided I even filmed like 90% of the footage, but I was not happy with it, so I'm just not doing it anymore. So yeah, so I might as well finish that batch of inks. And yeah, so some time ago I ordered this lubing station from Gray Studio, which was way more than like it should have been. It was like $30 or something, and it's just stacked acrylic, but it looked kind of cool. But they messed up one thing, and it's the shape of these cutouts, and you cannot close switches in the station. And 1 year later, they fixed their mistake and sent this replacement. I think it's there's a film on top. It's not that gross, actually. Let's put this on, and maybe not. Yeah, let's just peel it straight away. Yeah, I wonder if it's actually film. Should be. That would be funny if it's not. The only button which Kirill can find without light. I mean, that's partially true. Yeah, FR6 is a good material, but you'll have to do a lot of layers to kind of get the desired thickness down. But yeah, it's easy to work with, and it's cheap to manufacture, and it kind of looks pretty. It has certain aesthetics. Wait, yeah, I'm not sure anymore. It must be a film. It's because it doesn't look good at all. With standoffs. Yeah, I guess you can do that. Just have like a plate sitting on top of standoffs. Yeah, that can be cool. Ah, there we go. Whew. Yeah, this is it's printed on like a piece of paper / plastic, and they just stick it to the bottom. But the funny thing is, they changed the holes, but they did not change the graphic, and like graphic does not line up with cutouts anymore. So this one is like nice and tidy. There's an outline around the hole, and this is just all over the place. So yeah, I guess it was a bad idea to buy this station from the start. Yeah, the construction is just that simple. 4 bolts, or 6 bolts, 6 nuts, 3 layers of acrylic. That's all. It's not like other lube stations are more complex. Oh yeah, these holes, like stem holders, I don't know why, they're just useless. And I think there are more of them. Yeah, much more than the switch holes. The number of them is much bigger. I never use like stem holders in lubing stations. I have stems in the bowl and then just pick them up with the stem holder. And we have these nuts. So yeah, wait a minute. So they have replaced this top layer, but the bottom is still the same. Yeah, let me see if switches actually clip in. Yeah, they do. Oh yeah, the thickness of the top layer is enough for like pretty much the whole switch. It's fine. Another lube station that looks kind of interesting is the one made by Bear Keyboards. I think they sent it out to a lot of streamers in USA. and it has a sandwich. It is a sandwich of acrylic and wood, which is very nice. And they have like birch and cedar options. And yeah, that sounds very nice actually. Could you please show what was wrong with the original one? Sure, yeah, in a second. Let me just screw this new one together. So, what was wrong with the old panel is that the holes, they do not allow switches to close while it's in the loop station. So imagine you have a switch like this. By the way, these are inks from like the second revision of the version 1 inks, and those are the ones with like fallen out stems. So yeah, one of the fallen out leaves. Let me just grab tweezers real quick. Streamer, when will you start doing the resbar? I will start doing resbar when I'm in the mood for resbar. I'm not sure when. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have other keyboards to take care of. So, right, this is the issue. This is the old top. So the problem is that there's not enough space to the side of the switch for, actually I don't need a stem. There's not enough space for the switch, or like for legs to go through to be like closed while in the station. Whereas the new one, it does have bigger holes so that you can easily close the switch. You can just pop the top in like this and pull the whole switch out. It's much more convenient because so I'm not sure about everyone, but how I usually lube switches, I lube the bottom. Hold on. Let me just reopen this bastard. So I lube the bottom. Where is it? There we go. I lube the bottom. I put it in the station. I then lube the spring. I put it in. I lube the stem. I put it in. Actually, before the spring, I put the film on. Then the spring, then the stem, and then I lube the top, and I close the switch. And with the old station, it was not possible to close it while in the station. So you have to take the whole construction out and like taking care not to lose the film, not to lose the spring, not to lose the stem. So you kind of had to be very careful with it. And like the more like fiddly operations you have in lubing, the slower it goes, and you just waste time. So what I found with lubing is that, like, even small optimizations in the process, they give like significant results, because you have to repeat a certain operation like 60 or 90 in the case of TKL times. And so if you save a little bit on each operation, it just speeds up the whole process, and it also I don't know, kind of makes it less monotonous. Again, I know many people lube much quicker than I am, but I kind of stand behind my process, and I don't want to make compromises in it. And so yeah, my normal lubing rate is like, I don't know, 15 switches per hour. And yeah, things like lubing station that works well, or like lubing like palette. So you spread some lube on the palette, and then you just dip your brush in that rather than into the like tub with lube. That speeds up the process a lot. What else? The stem holder, also a good thing. And bag lubing, again, saves a lot of time. So yeah, you gotta find your process and make sure you optimize it if you want to save time. Right, so let's get to what we need to do. And what I need to do is finish this batch of inks. I had initially lubed it for my Rama Koyu. Right now they are in the Wilbur thermal belt that I did for my good friend. And yeah, but I still have this bunch of unlubed switches, and I will probably put it in my Rama Koyu. And like the amount of switches that I have that have been lubed, it's enough for 60%, but it's not enough for 65. So I need to finish them. Like some of them are already, yeah, this one's probably lubed and also filmed with the yellow film, which is kind of gross, but this is probably was one of the experiments. Yeah, this one as well. We're not gonna touch those. Right, so we have 5, 10, 15, we have 19 switches that we want to lube today. So yeah, it will probably take about an hour and a half. But we have whiskey, we have water, we have great company, so let's get to it. Yeah, I have this kind of a gross bag of springs that I bag lubed a year ago. I'm drinking this one. This is my favorite right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's the policy on alcohol on Twitch. I hope I don't get like banned or anything, but it should be fine, I think. Right, and yeah, so we start with opening all of the switches. I will dump springs in this tray, and I will throw stems, I suppose, and this. Yeah, usually I would have more bowls like this one and just spread them across different bowls, but I forgot to bring them now, so I'll just have to make do with what I have. I'm a little kind of OCD about lubing, so I like to optimize process. So right now it's not very convenient because I would usually have like a stem container here and bottoms maybe there and springs there, something like that. And so with this setup, you can just open the switch, you can throw the stem, you can throw the top, you can throw the spring, and you can put the bottom. So yeah, things like that, they kind of make the process easier and let you go quicker and I guess paying less attention. And if the process is simple, you'll probably make less mistakes. And like inks that I have is, I think this is considered the first version, but second revision. This is so they were released in, I think, like May of 2019 initially. And in that initial drop, I got a bag of silent inks. And I didn't like them because, well, I didn't like linears in general at the time. So I didn't like them. I fully tuned them, but I could not get used to them. They had no feedback. They felt like nothing. So I think I sold them to Team of A. Team of A, are you here? And then I was on the meetup and I tried inks, like not silent inks. Hey, hello. And this gentleman. Where are my silent inks now? Did you sell them to someone? And so later on the meetup I tried regular inks, not silent, and I kind of liked them. They were out of stock for a long time, then they came back, and this is the batch that I got, and soon enough like someone realized there was a problem, that the leaves like leaves in the housing, they do not set very tight, and so they kind of fallen out, and you have to be careful when you disassemble them. But like some people think that it's a big deal, but they don't. I'm just trying to be careful with them and not like let them fall apart, and double checking when I put them back that the leaf is on the correct like place. And then they released what's called Ink V2. And that's the one which, like many people say, has like they're not as smooth. But I didn't have them and I didn't try them, so I cannot say for sure. But I am happy that even though the leaves are falling out, I'm happy that I got the first batch. And yeah, they are pretty smooth. I would say they are pretty much on par with things like tangerines or, well, the rest of the JWJ pack. And we're gonna be putting these ultra high molecular weight polyethylene stems, which are pretty smooth. And the material is also in the, that's the material that is in some proportion is in C3 tangerines, and it's kind of the reason why they're so smooth. And in fact, when these stamps just came out, we tried putting those stamps into the tangerines, and it didn't make any sense. They just made the sound like worse, higher pitched. So yeah, it makes sense to put them in the inks. These stamps, they can ruin the sound a little bit, like it makes it slightly higher pitched, but I don't really care for that. I think it still sounds great. And I also used I usually use a thicker lube for linear switches, so the difference for me is kind of negligible, and I like the additional smoothness. Okay, so first of all, we need to lube bottoms. So, as I mentioned, what helps to speed up the process is having or like dipping the brush not into the tub with lube, but rather spreading it on like something like a tub lid, or there are like special palettes from Kinetic Labs that are pretty convenient as well. So I'll just put like a small amount of lube onto the lid and just make it a little bit darker, like this. Yeah. So you can see. And what's next? Yeah, I'm using 203 grade 0. It's a very thick lube. But the good thing about it is it does not separate ever. And it is also like stays where you put it. Like even a year later, it just sits at the same place, like it was a year ago. But you kind of have to be careful with it, because you can easily put too much and it will give like a really sluggish feeling to the switch. In fact, I think I already put too much. Let's see if you can. So I put a lube on this switch, and it's kind of too much with the 203 G2. Kind of want to have a very, very thin layer. That, like this lube, it kind of starts to feel sticky if the layer is very thin. But yeah, that's what you want. And what I also found with lubing is that if you want to improve the sound of a switch, it makes sense to lube all of the surfaces of the switch. So bottom rails, the thing where the stem goes, the top, the stem, and it kind of covers all surfaces, and that makes it makes the switch less kind of high pitched, because it well, at least my theory is that it cannot vibrate as much as before, because you're kind of creating a sandwich between the plastic. It's like a sandwich of plastic and lube, you know what I mean? And so it changes the properties of the material, and it kind of dampens the sound a lot. And even though it does not improve the smoothness anymore, basically to get the bulk of smoothness improvement, it is enough to lube just the stem. Pretty much, you get the most of improvement there. Right now, I put the switches on the station, these bottoms, and I don't really like it. I like to lube while holding it in the hand, so I'll just be taking them out one by one. How often do you need to relube switches? It depends on the lube, I would say. If it's something like 2 or 3 G2, I'm not sure you ever need to relube them, because I checked with switches that I used a lot. 1 year later, the lube was there in all the same places. But with I had a batch of Xylons lubed with 3203, and they kind of lost on their smoothness a little bit over the year. So yeah, maybe you will have to. Maybe I would relube them if I were to continue to use them. I think I wanna grab the Kinetic Labs palette because it's black and you can really see the lube on there. This cap, this lid, is not very well suited for as a lube palette. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm just gonna transfer the same blob of lube, and when you spread it on the palette, you can kind of see how much you have, which is very useful. Okay, I shouldn't have put the bottoms in the station that deep. So maybe it would make sense to put bottoms in the bowl first, and then kind of insert them into the station. And what I also found is that with thick lube like this one, it is kind of even easier to make lubing more consistent, because it's kind of thick, and you can you apply it and then you just need to wipe it until it's like barely visible, and that's actually really easy to do consistently. Whereas with thinner lubes like the GS1 or 205 Grid 0, you kind of have to put a certain layer on it, which is if you put too little, well, at least from my experience, the sound does not improve that much. And I want from lubing, I want two effects: smoothness and sound. And if you put a thin layer of 205 Grid 0, you only get smoothness, but not that much improvement of sound. Ой, Петя, привет. Почему бешу-то опять? Чё так поздно пришел? Бесишь? Yeah, okay. I'm kind of tired after work, so I might be picking up same switches twice. Good luck with the stream, man. Thank you. Так вышло, что я не могу, если будет неделя... Да, четверг. Тоже время. Right, so I'm also trying this new schedule for streams. I'm trying to get back the affiliate status that I lost because I moved to a new channel. And so I need to do at least 7 streams in a span of a month, as well as like fulfill some other requirements like average viewers, average chat messages, and I think also the total stream count, or like stream duration. And like the hardest part is to do 7 streams per month, because it pretty much means that you have to do 2 streams per week, which is not that easy. But I'm kind of committed to getting that back, because it unlocks different cool things like subscriptions, different customizations, etc. So yeah, hopefully I get it back soon enough. And you will probably see a lot more of me in the next 3 weeks, I think. And hopefully not just for Switch lubing. As a matter of fact, I have a few builds upcoming, but I still need to lube switches for them, which is always a deal breaker for me. It just takes a lot of time. But yeah, so my idea with the new schedule was that on Tuesday I would do preparation for builds that I would do on Thursday, ideally. That still means that I will have to spend significant time preparing for streams, as in lubing switches, like off stream, but it's still fine. I have my personal Tex Shinoda keyboard, Shinobi, that I need to build. The third one already. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what switches to use. So yeah, I will have to do that. Right, so next step is we need to put films on these inks. And the previous batch, it used white TX films. So we're gonna continue with that, so that it's all the same. Out of all switch films / stickers, the TX films are the easiest to use. They're pretty firm and they don't kind of wiggle around that much. They hold their shape very well. Unlike Deski's stickers that, like, they probably, technically they're films, because they don't have a sticky layer on them. They seem like they would be sticky, but they're not. And they also deform pretty easily when you close the switch. So yeah. And there are also switch stickers that are made from vinyl or maybe other materials. And you have to actually stick them on, which, well, it's not hard, but it is slower than just putting switch films on. Actually, like this batch is, I think this batch was purchased even before they opened the US store. So we ordered this one. They're like, I have multiple bags of these films, and yeah, we ordered them from Korea rather than, I don't know, USA. And the TX films are now available in thinner variant. I think these are 0.15 millimeters thick, and they also have now 0.125, which they say works better for switches that are kind of tighter, like from the start, like creams. Yeah, I ordered some, and I have a kind of a project coming up with Novelty's creams, and I will use those films there. But yeah, as you can see, it is really easy to apply these films. I actually forgot how easy it is to use them. And done. Okay, some of the leaves popped out. Alright, that was quick. Next step is springs. I intend to pull out this old bag of springs, which is kind of gross. So yeah, I'll move them to another bag. It's been sitting for so long that the lube seeped through everything. And for some reason I dumped the whole bag of springs into this baggie, which is way more than I needed. And they are now all lubed. I don't even remember what springs these are. I'm pretty sure those are TX, but what weight I don't remember. Probably 65. Okay. Let me just find my oil. Most people use 105 2 lube springs. I don't, simply because I have these like a couple of bottles of lube from TX that came with the springs. So I don't think it makes too much difference. Yeah. Just use whatever oil you have. I nearly had a catastrophe. And you blow it a little bit and just shake. Hello, geek. Hello, nerd. You can also kind of massage them in. That's enough. To be honest, the worst part of bag lubing is separating them from each other because they kind of tangle when you shake them, and you need to pick them apart, and they're lubed, so they're kind of gross. So yeah, like this. Где Durgod? Durgod уже под столом. Точнее, в помойке Durgod. Oh, there's a trick to how to separate the springs from each other. You can just drop it on the table. And they kind of fall apart. So yeah, this is how this step goes. Just put them on. Shit. Okay. Okay. be honest, I'm not sure how some streamers can, during like 4-hour stream, to lube. They can lube the whole batch of switches for a build, like 70 switches, and then assemble the build, all within 4 hours. I would spend that much time only to lube switches. God damn it. So yeah, lubing switches is a pretty boring and tedious process, but once you try it, you cannot really go back to using unlubed switches, if I'm honest. Once I tried it, I just cannot. I have to lube them. But more than that, unfortunately, most of modern switches, they require filming or at least spring lubing. So yeah, you have to open them anyway, and you might as well lube them. If you know of any switch that is good stock, let me know, because I don't know of any switch like that. Like good as uncompromisingly good, not like alright. Na zdrowie. Okay, next step, we need to lube stems. Godspeed. Поехали. Oh, I have one brown stem. That was a joke. From the guy I bought these from. Oh, how funny. I will put one brown stem to him. That was funny, actually. Right, so the next thing that is important for quick lubing is the stem holder. What it does is, it's a kind of a, I think it's like a pencil, and you can put the, I'm not sure how that thing called that you put in, but you can kind of swap it for different things, but you can also pick up things with it, as in particular stamps. And it makes it really easy to just lube it quickly and consistently and have less frustration with it. I usually lube all surfaces of the stem well, all side surfaces, if you can say so. That means both rails, legs, as well as all sides. Even for tactile switches, they say switch loses tactility if you lube legs, but I think this is kind of it's exaggerated. Yes, you lose a little bit of tactility, but you also, I think, gain a lot more smoothness, and that's more important than like a little bit of lost tactility. I would say even with switch like a brown lubing stem legs, it's beneficial. You don't lose that much. You just get an overall smoother switch. Tactile switches on their own, they feel kind of less smooth than linears. So yeah, I think it's very important. I lube bumps on all my tactile switches. I don't care. I feel like sometimes people like to repeat something as a mantra, even though they didn't try it themselves. I think it's kind of a myth, one of the myths that's getting passed from one person to another, whereas in reality, I'm not sure that's that much, that's big of a deal. Yeah. Some people even kind of say you lose all tactility if you lube the bump, or like, yeah, I mean, how thick how thick is your lube, bro? Yeah, I agree. Also, like, hey, we live in the era of heavily tactile switches. To be honest, I don't need that much. I don't mind it losing a little bit of tactility. Hey, how are you lubing the factory pre-lube switches? Do you wash them before? Last time when I lubed, so it depends on the switch. If some switches are just drenched in oil from the factory, in that case, I would just wipe stems with a paper towel before lubing. If it's just a little bit of factory lube, I usually use like thicker lubes, like 2 or 3 G2. I'll just paint over the factory lube and kind of mix them together on the stem. It works well for me. I don't have like an ultrasound bath to clean them, and I think that's too much hassle. The only switch that had like too much factory oil was the Pewter, which is made by JWK, but I guess it was kind of specifically requested to for it to be heavily lubed. And some switches are just they have so much lube in them they feel sluggish. And so yeah, in that case, it is important to wipe it down a little bit. With switches like Tangerines that have a little bit of factory lube, I think it's not that important. I just paint over it and they turned out great. I also have an upcoming project that I'm kind of excited about, but it also would take a long time to implement. I want to build my mode 80 with creams, and as I said, I like to lube all of my switches, and but with creams it is important to break them in first. So I have a plan that I would assemble the hot swap mode 80 with creams. I will use it for like a month, then I will take them out and solder them into the like solderable board. And considering I think I type not that like much per day as some people, and I'm kind of anxious that I will not break them in a month, at least not consistently, because like I'm not gonna use F-row that much, or maybe arrows. So alphanumeric cluster will definitely break in quicker. Yeah, they should start selling switches not assembled. I mean, I would not mind that. We already have Franken switches. When you're left with a bunch unused parts that can only be assembled back into like just mediocre, scratchy, linear switch. I'm talking about like remnants of the Holy Panda. So you get a stem from Hello True or Claire. You get a housing from Yuck Panda, and you're left with fairly scratchy stem of Yuck Panda and fairly scratchy housing from Halo Clear, and you get like just kind of a bad linear switch. Yeah, exactly. And you might even be able to do like different combinations of switch like housings and stems. I mean, considering if they go like in different colors and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it brings more creativity in the hobby. I mean, we can already buy stems like these separately. We can buy springs. Next step is the housing. I used to have a bag of boba U4, which are silent tactiles, and I sold it to a guy who was building linears. I don't remember the recipe exactly, but it's those housings from the boba U4 and some stem. So yeah, he basically bought a bag of switches just for housings. That's not unheard of in this hobby. Or today I heard there's a switch that's called Huru switch. I think it's named after the Dr. Huru, another streamer, and that is bottom from the H1 switch, the top from Cherry Hyperglide, and the stem like this, the smooth one. So that's like 3 switches to build the one switch. But probably the most expensive is something like Zycos, which involves some part of Silent or like Zelio switch, and that's like $1 per switch. Which is frankly a bit too much, well, when we have JWK. Xylons are pretty enjoyable. I recently, well, pretty much recently, pulled out a build that I have with Xylons, and I used them for a bit, and they're very like enjoyable switch for work when you want to be comfortable and not too loud. But yeah, not for like $1.2 per switch. That's just too expensive. Right, so we're done with stems. That was quick. It's been, I think, 45 minutes. It's actually going pretty quick today. So I have, yeah, I have 19 switches. Now to the top housings. I know a lot of people do not lube top housings, but again, just for the sake of sound, I do lube them, like on all four sides. First in the... Let me adjust the camera. First I would lube in the crevice that the slider goes in. I guess this is the lubing guide from me that you're getting. You're not getting the recorded version, but you get a live stream version. Hello? Hello? Okay. Then I would lube this side. There are two rails in here. And I turn the brush, lube this crevice on the other side. And finally, I would lube two rails on the other side. Basically, just lube all four corners. And this is why the fixed lube station is better. You can just close the switch carefully, not to move the film around, and there we go. And it's just closed, and you can pull it out easily. Well. I would go ahead and readjust the film a little bit. I don't like how it sticks out that much. Oh, it's also, okay. Oh, there we go. Another thing that's important is to check that the switch is fully closed. Otherwise, it will not sit in the plate correctly, and also it will sound weird. API said Zygos are stupid, and I can disagree that like $2+ a switch is a terrible idea, no matter what the result. Well, you know, I mean, people were buying Holy Pandas for like, what was it, $6 per switch? Or at least $3 per switch. And yeah, this hobby is strange. Yeah, maybe I will just put all of the lubed tops aside and close them all at once. Another thing that's lets you like finish the process quicker is it's like a conveyor in the factory. You want to do similar operations in batches. Like if you're lubing tops, just lube a bunch of tops. It will you kind of are moving quicker when you repeat the same thing. It becomes mechanic and it just goes quicker. Whereas if you lube switches one by one, you have to remember the steps, you have to like make each step consistently, and you're not doing each step like repeatedly many times. You switch to another step all the time. And when you lube like 20 tops at once, you just do the same thing 20 times. That's much easier. So I'm gonna lube 19 tops and close them all at once. Well, not all at once, but one by one, but all in the same sequence. When I was just starting this hobby, I was surprised how little lube you need for switches. Like you saw how much lube I had in the palette in the beginning. It was like, I don't know, like 3 grains of rice, something like that. And that's enough for 20 switches, more than enough. So I think I usually spend about 1 milliliter per 150 or 200 switches, which is not a lot at all. So you buy like a 3 ml or 5 ml tub of Crydox and you can lube like 1,000 switches with it. That's a lot. So yeah, Crydox is expensive, but it will last a long time for you. Alright, 10 tops are done. And by the way, the pewter switches that I built Space 65 with, I like them a lot, and I gave them, like, my friend tried it and he said that they are much more tactile than browns, but the tactility is still like very mild and nice. And I'm also surprised, considering those are JWK switches, they sound surprisingly deep and nice. And I lube them with thin grease rather than the 203 G2 that I usually use for JWK switches, because, like, honestly, they can take all the sound improvements that they can. So, like, they need sound improvement. So it's better to use the thick lube. I did test runs with 203 G2 and GS1, the thinner and kind of a slippery lube on Peters, and I found that with thinner lube they kind of keep their like lightness of movement better, and the sound is not too much different between 203 G2 and GS1. So I went with GS1, but the GS1 lube, it is very expensive. It is $20 for 5 ml, and it's not like it's not magical grease. It's just good lube, that's all. So I'm probably not buying GS1 again. It's just too expensive. And like, to be honest, 205 Grid Zero achieves pretty much the same result. Or maybe I'm just not that picky for type of lubes. Honestly, I don't see that much difference between all of them. I know 203 G2 improves the sound, and it kind of gives a little bit of sluggish feel to the switch, but it's pretty good. And the like switch being sluggish, it is only noticeable on the like start of the keystroke, and only if you like paying attention. So if you paying close attention, you will notice that, but in real life it doesn't really matter. All right, so we can close open. Oh yeah, this updated lube station, it is much nicer than taking them out one by one. Also, after I close the switch, I like to test the result to make sure there's nothing weird going on. Shit, I ruined it. There we go. All in all, I consider the black inks one of the best linear switches. It's because, to be honest, I don't notice much difference in smoothness compared to JWK. I mean, they are almost just as smooth. And I got a batch of 808 inks, and they are, I would say they are even more like, they are more consistent in smoothness rather than, for example, Alpaca's V2. But I did kind of a small test on 10 switches from the pack. So yeah, I'm impressed with the new batch of inks, and I didn't get to building with them though yet, and even lubing them. The unique thing about Zyka is just the long pole, can get the same effect from WU14. Yeah, it's like a Holy Panda type of sound, right? And I kind of get the same result with Pacos, which is a halo, clear, or true stem in the novel keys cream housing. I prefer them over Holy Pandas. They have, again, smaller or like lighter tactility, and they are also 5-pin as compared to Holy Pandas build, for example, with the Yoke Pandas. So yeah, I would say the type of sound that you get with Holy Pandas, or as you say, Zycos, it's not that unique anymore. Right, yeah. So this updated lube station is much better. Who would have thought it? So I lubed 20 switches and... Oh, hello. Hello, Jeff. Yeah, I won a cable giveaway on Instagram with Jeff Battle Station and Calamity cables. I already talked to the Calamity and he's a nice guy, and he basically said, pick whatever you want, I'll do anything for you. And yeah, it was great, and he has a lot of choice. Thank you for stopping by. I'm just fixing some of the films right now. I don't like them when they misalign, even though it does not matter performance wise. Yes, I get the replacement tab for the lube station. This is the old one. Yeah, and the updated one works. Well, it works, at least. Yeah, it is much better. You can close switches in the station now, and it just, yes, this is nice. And we're done. Yeah, whew, that was quick. The last thing I need to do is put them in, and now I can finally, yeah, let me just clean up first. We can remove this darn label and finished ink lubing. can replace it with... Oh my god, I love this thing. I am kind of sticking labels to everything in the house. So it is Gateron. Gateron. So switches and keycaps is not the best on this thing. It's not like it's not like enthusiast quality. Gateron Ink. V1. I hope you can see it. The interface is a little clunky, so we need insert symbols, brackets. Okay. Gateron Ink V1. Let's just say it's R2. R2, insert, symbols, brackets. Wrong. Lubed. Insert another bracket. Okay. Lube with 203 G2. This one, TX. Spring. Yeah, and this thing is it's kind of hard to use, or it's kind of hard to type on. TX Spring, and what else? TX Film. TX Film. Yeah, that's all we need to know. So another bracket. Okay. Sounds good. Print. Bruh, that's long. Shit. Yeah, I'm afraid that's way too long. Also, that's what she said. I mean... Okay, let's change the size. Medium. Medium. Okay, let's try medium. Hey, what's up? Where's the rest of the... Oh, did it run out? No, did I use all of it? Shit. Whap, whap, whap. Alright, we'll use the long S one. I'll have to wrap it around the container. The only thing I don't like these cassettes, like, I'm not sure how you're supposed to peel this backing. That's kind of awkward to use. Gateron Ink V1, yada yada yada. Okay, it's fine. Not jank at all. Shit. Okay. It's cool. I'll swap it later. Right. So this seems to be it for today. I plan to have a next stream this Thursday, same time. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in 2 days. Bye-bye.